Hello YouTube, hello fellow Sandites. Mr. Smith Sandite Mentor here. I wanted to continue, do a second video on multiplying decimals. This will be the multiplying decimals number 2, video 2. And, and the reason why is I noticed when working with the first video, some of the problems really kind of got complicated because it included variables and it also including adding decimals. So there were a couple of things in play there that we have to use one or two more rules, just a little more complicated than just doing decimals by themselves. And so I wanted to pick out one of those problems, and I'm just going to do the first one that's out of the book here. We're going to be working with the variable, and we're going to be working with the variable r, and I'm just going to write that one down. They're giving us the value for the variable r as 0.034, and that's going to be important because we're going to have to plug that in to the problem here. And here's the problem. It is 5.027 plus 4.68 and then the variable r. Okay, now if you've watched my other videos, we know that whenever there's a number up against the variable, that means to multiply it by the value of that variable. In this case, we're going to have to take 4.68 and we're going to have to multiply that by 0.034. And remember, whether you look at this as rules of operations or whatever, still you're just going to have to multiply before we add. And remember, in multiplication, we don't line up any decimals. We just count the numbers of digits behind the decimal and make sure there's that many number in the answer. So here we go. 4 times 8 is 32, so we're going to put down a 2, carry your 3. 4 times 6, 24 plus the 3, so 24, 25, 26, 27. I'm going to put down the 7, carry the 2. 4 times 4 being 16, 17, 18, after we add the 2 that we carried. A placeholder, because we're finished with this first column, we're working the second column. I want my answers to start in the second column. So here we go. 3 times 6 would be 18. I put down the 8, and oops, sorry, back up just a second. It's actually 3 times 8 would be 24, and we're carrying the 2. We're finished with this 3. Here's my 18. 3 times 6 is 18 plus the 2 would be 20. So I put down a 2, and let's just go ahead and use that 2 for the carryover. 3 times 4 is 12 plus the 2, 13, 14 would be 14. Okay, so now we're finished with the second column, so we're working on the third column. Let's put placeholders so that when we start putting down answers, they end up in the third column. So it just happens to be 0 times 3 numbers, so let's just put 3 zeros. Okay, and I'm getting kind of crunched up, but I'm trying to keep everything lined up, and I hope you understood that the reason why I put down the 3 zeros is because 0 times 8 is 0, 0 times 6 is 0, 0 times 4 is 0, okay? So here we go. We've got to add all of these up. There's your 2. 7 plus 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Carry the 1. 8 plus 1 would be 9. 4 plus 1 would be 5, and then that 1 would just drop. Okay? Now I'm finished, right? Hopefully you said no. We're not finished because we haven't placed the decimal. So where would the decimal go? Well, in the original problem, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers behind the decimal. So I better make sure there's 5 numbers behind the decimal in my answer. So here goes. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the decimal is going to go way out here in front. Okay? So I'm going to just kind of jot this down. Normally I have scratch paper, and a lot of you know that I am a big fan of using scratch paper, but in this case I forgot to bring mine. So I'm gonna write down what I got for this part just right up here, because now I'm gonna have to add it to the 5.027. So so in the past 2 videos up to this point, we've worked on multiplying the decimals. The other day I did a video explaining the rules. I shouldn't have got that wet that far, of adding the decimals. So remember, when we add decimals, we have to line up the decimals. So since I'm dealing with 5.027 versus a 0.15912, I'm going to put the bigger number on top, and 5 having a whole number, and this other one not even having a whole number. So here goes. I'm going to put 5.027 on top, and we're going to add, and remember, we line up the decimals when adding decimals. So my decimal is here, and it's 1, 5, 9, 1, 2. And we're going to add those together. Remember, we got this by multiplying the 4.68 by the variable's value of 0.034. So, okay, so we're to this point, and looks a little funny, so let's make it look a little better by placing zeros in the empty spots. So here we go. It's just addition. 2 plus zeros to 1, that's going to be 1. Nobody's going to have a problem to this point. 9 plus 7, you can take the 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And I'm going to put down the 6, carry the 1, the 5, plus 2 would be 7, and that 1 would make it 8. 1 plus 0, that 1's going to drop. Remember, in adding decimals, the decimal just drops straight down, and then there's going to be a 5 right there. So a couple of different rules applied in this one, and we used them both. We used the rules when we multiply decimals, we used the rules when we had add decimals, and we had to deal with some variables. So there's, in this week's lessons that my friends are working on, there's actually 4 of these problems. And if you have any questions, or we're having difficulty with that particular problem, I hope by doing this, it may have helped explain how to do it. A little more complicated, but long as you know when to line up decimals, when not to line up decimals, just have fun with it and enjoy. And again, remember, the multiplication facts, the more that you know, the more that you commit to memory, the easier it is going to make your life when it comes to doing math. So always practice your multiplication facts until you memorize at least up to your nines. And I promise you that that is going to make things a whole lot easier for you when it comes to math. So this is Mr. Smith, Sandite Mentor, and I hope you liked the video. If so, like it, subscribe, send me a message if there's another example or something that I can help you with. And you guys have a good day. I'll see you at school, and talk to you later.